What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Dimensions news update. Now, this video is of course going to be even more screenshots for the game, and these are extremely cool because they focus mainly on the Simpsons content in LEGO Dimensions. And I have to say right now, the Simpsons content in this game is amazing. If you are a fan of the Simpsons, you're going to absolutely love this game. But more importantly, I think the coolest thing about it, sadly it doesn't show it in this video in the screenshots, but the coolest thing I've seen from the Simpsons content so far is the fact that you can run around Springfield. That is the adventure world. That's what I was hoping for, but the fact that it's there and there's so many iconic locations you can go to and everything is just amazing. And it's probably my most anticipated adventure world out of all of them in the game so far. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so the first screenshot of the video is of course the back of the Simpsons house. This is the garden, we can see the sandpit there, we can see Bart's tree house and everything. It's all so authentic to the Simpsons and it looks great. But the thing is about this, similar to what I was saying about, some of the other missions in the game, is, the roof on the top of the Simpsons house is actually destroyed. The roof is destroyed, some of the windows are smashed, there's wood on the ground and everything. Bad things have happened basically in the Simpsons house, or more importantly Springfield. So I imagine, once this has happened in the main story, if you put, say, Bart, Homer or Krusty on the toy pad and then you go into their adventure world, which is Springfield, I'd imagine that you could go back and then rebuild these things. So you could go on top of the roof. Maybe that's what you have to do. You see those little pipes there? Maybe you have to jump up there and then you jump onto the roof and then you can rebuild it so it's not broken anymore. That's what I would imagine you have to do, and I hope it is, because I really like the whole hub world renovation thing. I think that is a super cool addition to the game, and I hope they use that in other LEGO games as well, because it's just a really nice addition. Next up, of course, here we can see Bart and Batman outside of Bart's treehouse. Now, the funny thing is, these characters both look awesome. We've seen plenty of Batman, but Bart alone looks great. He's got his slingshot and everything, and he's got his treehouse up there, which is really cool. But the thing that caught my eye immediately was the skateboard in the background, because it reminded me that sadly there isn't a skateboard with Bart. But how cool would that have been? Marty McFly has his hoverboard. Imagine if Bart had his skateboard. But then again, maybe, just maybe, you go into the Springfield Adventure World and you can go into the garden and the skateboard is there and you can use it. Maybe it's an exclusive vehicle that you can only use when in that adventure world. We will just have to wait and see. Moving on, here we can see Homer in the back garden yet again, and he's joined by some of the items that come in the Homer Simpsons level pack. So basically the level pack comes with Homer, Taunto Vision and Homer's car. We still currently don't know what Taunto Vision does, but I'm sure it's going to be cool. But not only that, it also comes with an all new game level, and it's described as a Springfield adventure. So that's going to be really cool. So not only do you have the adventure world, you also have an actual level based on the Simpsons. Like I've said several times, it's like a mini what if TT Games made a LEGO Simpsons game. So that should be very cool and very exciting. Next up, we can see Homer in the back garden of the Simpsons house, but this time he's holding a Buzz Cola, which does actually come with the level pack. You do actually get a real-life mini Lego Buzz Cola that you can put in Homer's hand for the minifigure, which is really cool. Now, one thing that's interesting about Homer is he will be available at launch. So if you want to go pick up the Simpsons level pack and day one, and go run around Springfield, you can totally do that. But the thing is, even though he comes out day one, there hasn't really been any gameplay of him. There's never really been a demonstration of what Homer can do in game. However, if you do look hard enough, you can probably find a few little things. The only thing I've really seen is there was one video where Homer burped or belched, or however you want to say it, and I think it damaged enemies, and that's all I've seen from Homer so far. I think he just drinks the Buzz Cola and then belches, and yeah, I guess it defeats enemies. Now, there isn't really anything else I've seen so far from Homer, but my guess is he can do more than that. I highly doubt that is the only thing Homer can do, because Homer is a very funny character, and there's a lot of cool stuff you could add to that character. So it'll be interesting to see what else they add, what else we don't know about for Homer. But for now, I still really like the character. I'm very excited to just drive around Springfield with him, to be honest. I think that alone is going to be extremely fun. Moving on, here we can see the interior of the Simpsons house. It's got the classic paintings and everything. One of the things I love about the paintings is, even though, you know, those are the paintings you'd expect to see in the show, they're in Lego form. I just think that's really cool. And we can, of course, see, you know, so many things are being destroyed here. Like I was saying before, you know, you'll probably come back here in the Adventure World. You can probably go inside the Simpsons house and rebuild everything. Or maybe you can do it from the outside. I mean, it's hard to say, but I'm definitely certain that one of the hub world renovations will be to do with the Simpsons house. But nonetheless, this looks really cool. Here, of course, we can see a famous room from the Simpsons household, and it is, of course, where all the couch gags are done and where Homer sleeps around and watches TV. And it's just so cool to see this one room, you know, in the game. It's just really nice to see it in Lego form. And one of the things they said about Lego Dimensions, you know, they said with all these different franchises and everything, the one thing they really wanted to focus so much attention on was someone, you know, picking up this game for possibly just one franchise, any franchise at all, and just being able to go into it and expect what they're expecting. You know, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, you want to be able to play as all the different Doctors. You want to be able to fly around the TARDIS, go inside the interior and all that. You really want to expect these things. And the fact is, if you're expecting it, it's going to be in the game, and that's just really cool. Like, for me, I'm a fan of The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. I always have and I always will. So the fact is, I was expecting to see an open world Springfield so I could drive around as Homer all day long and complete quests and things. And I got that, you know, we can actually do that. It's just really cool. So people who wanted to see the Simpsons content and wanted to be able to at least see the interior of the Simpsons house, they're getting that. And that's just really nice. And again, you know, it just makes me think, imagine what this game is going to be like in 2 or 3 years' time. I mean, who knows what franchises are coming next, but I'm sure they're going to be just as awesome as year one. Now here we can see, of course, Bart driving around in the Simpsons house interior, and it looks really cool to see Bart here. But one thing I wanted to mention is, you know, we've seen that Bart has his slingshot, which is really cool, but he also comes with the Gravity Sprinter, which is his vehicle that comes in the Bart Simpson Fun Pack. Now, one thing I noticed about that, I recognized it straight away. It definitely looks to be based on the soapbox racer that Bart drives in the episode Saturdays of Thunder, which is a very old episode of The Simpsons, but it's one I definitely remember. It's when Bart kind of got into soapbox racing, and it's really cool to see, you know, such an old vehicle that I think it only appeared in one episode. I could be wrong there. It might have appeared in others. But it's just so cool to see that they're going that far back and adding content from the older episodes. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't really a huge fan of The Simpsons now, as they were opposed to, you know, a few years ago. You know, The Simpsons back in the day was amazing. And some people, you know, they now think that The Simpsons just isn't as funny as it used to be. Personally, I enjoy the older ones more. I do get a kick out of the new ones as well, but I really enjoy the older ones more. So it's nice to see that they're adding content from the older episodes, and I'm sure we'll see more of that, you know, present in the quests and things. I think it'd be really cool if, you know, in the quests in the Adventure World we're going to see references to previous episodes. I'm definitely certain we'll see that, and hopefully, you know, maybe we'll see references to the Simpsons movie. We did see the Wrecking Ball with Homer in the Aperture Science Lab, so it's definitely not impossible. Now this is an extremely awesome screenshot because here of course you can see Krusty the Clown driving around on his clown bike, which comes with his fun pack. But I think the more important thing to talk about with this screenshot in particular is where Krusty is actually driving his bike. And it is of course Burns' mansion, Mr. Burns' mansion, and we can see that from the painting on the wall of Mr. Burns, which I have to say is awesome because not only is it a picture of Mr. Burns, it's a picture of a Lego Mr. Burns, and that's just really cool to see. And I did do a video of the Adventure Worlds trailer where I pointed out a few things in the Simpsons Adventure World, and we could see, well I could see at least, what looked to be Mr. Burns walking the streets. So you might actually be able to walk around and actually find Mr. Burns walking the streets of Springfield, which is really cool. So I guess, you know, this kind of confirms that not only are we going to be visiting the Simpsons house in the story mission in the starter pack, but we're also going to be visiting Burns' mansion. Could we be visiting more locations? We will just have to wait and see. Next up here we can see Krusty the Clown yet again, joined by Harley Quinn and the Joker in Cloud Cuckoo Land. Now one of the cool things about the Lego movie in this game is its Adventure World. So you're probably thinking, so is it just Cloud Cuckoo Land? No, that's the cool thing. It's Cloud Cuckoo Land, it's Bricksburg, Mill Zealand, it's also the Old West. It's huge, and it's also got a whole underwater area that you can explore. It's got caverns you can explore. It's also got races and quests and collectibles. There's so much. Seriously, it is huge. It is absolutely massive. And from the, you know, adventure worlds that I've seen so far, the ones we've actually been shown in gameplay, it might be one of my favorites. It is just so cool. It's like being in a Lego toy box. You know, it really is. Everything looks like Lego. So just being able to use all these cool vehicles and everything in a Lego world, you know, a whole Lego world, the whole thing is made out of Lego. It just looks super cool, and I'm very excited about the Lego Movie Adventure World in particular. Now this is interesting because at the beginning of the video I was talking about how it's a shame how Bart doesn't have his skateboard with the fun pack, but here of course we can see Bart flying around on Marty McFly's hoverboard, so you can totally do that. If you want to get the Back to the Future level pack and of course the Bart Simpson fun pack, you can just put those together and, you know, use the hoverboard instead of a skateboard. And plus, hoverboards are awesome. We can also see he's joined by Wonder Woman and Slimer from Ghostbusters, and they are in what looks to be Gotham / Metropolis / Atlantis. Yes, the DC Comics adventure world seems to be a combination between Gotham City and Metropolis, and then if you jump in the water as, say, Scooby-Doo or Aquaman, or if you have like an underwater vehicle, you can go underwater and actually visit Atlantis. It's an extremely cool adventure world, and I'm very excited about it. And we haven't seen a lot of this adventure world, but from this, you know, screenshot alone, it looks great. It looks really cool, and it looks very different to the take on Gotham City in Lego Batman 2. So, you know, it's part Gotham, part Metropolis, but it'll be very interesting to see how that all works in the full game. Next up, with this screenshot, there isn't really much to say here except for the fact that Bart Simpson is riding a raptor from Jurassic World in the Emerald City from The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that's pretty much all to say here. I mean, this is just a great example at the amount of combinations you can make with all the different franchises in LEGO Dimensions. Now, it's not present in this screenshot, but the starter pack alone really allows you to do lots of things. You know, people don't understand that the starter pack is huge. You don't have to go out and buy all this other stuff if you don't want to. You can take Batman into Middle-earth and fight orcs day one. You can totally do that. You can take Wildstyle in the Batmobile and drive around in Gotham day one. You can do all of that. But then of course you can go the extra mile and buy other packs whenever you want, you know. Then you can, this is a crazy combination, but just off the top of my head, you can take Owen Grady, put him in the TARDIS and fly around Springfield with the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz. I mean, that kind of thing sounds crazy in your mind and probably shouldn't work, but TT Games have made it work, and that just shows how good they are at doing their jobs, you know. It really does. So I think LEGO Dimensions is a great crossover game. It really is, and I think, you know, in years to come it's just going to get better and better. I'm so excited about the franchises that they have planned, and I'm so excited to see what franchises are coming next. There's so many things that could be added to this game. It's crazy, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to choose. This is just a very quick screenshot of Homer trying to catch a donut in the Aperture Science Labs. There literally isn't anything else to say here except for the fact that Homer is trying to eat a donut in Aperture Science Labs from Portal 2. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we can see Homer Simpson from, of course, The Simpsons, with Slimer, who, if you didn't know, is actually from the Ghostbusters franchise. Now, in the background, we can see the Ghostbusters poster, so this is obviously, you know, the Ghostbusters story mission in the starter pack. And like I was saying, you know, the starter pack really gives you so much. You do actually get to visit all these different areas in the starter pack alone. The only thing is, with, of course, team packs, fun packs, and level packs, they open up even more content from those individual franchises. So you do actually get a slice of Ghostbusters and Doctor Who and Simpsons and things in the starter pack alone, which is just really great to hear. Next up here we can see Homer and Slimer yet again, but this time they're joined by Peter Venkman. Now, one thing I was reading about the other day with, you know, the new packs and things that were revealed is that apparently some of the characters will actually talk to each other. So for example, if you've ever wondered what Homer Simpson's reaction would be if he met a Ghostbuster, then apparently he will actually react to that. He will actually talk to Peter Venkman. So that's really cool to hear. And that alone sounds like a lot of fun, you know, looking at the characters that you do actually own and thinking, I wonder what Gandalf would say to the Doctor. Something like that. I think that's going to be really cool just to see their reactions. And I bet there's more than one, you know. I bet you put them in each time and they'll say something different. Obviously there'll be a limit, but I'm sure they'll have a lot of very fun little crossover tongue-in-cheek references. One thing I did see in one video which I thought was hilarious and such a cool reference was basically the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. He jumped in the DeLorean from Back to the Future and he said, I think it was, I could save the world 3 times over before this baby hits 88 miles per hour. I mean, that's just such a cool tongue-in-cheek reference to Back to the Future, and I just love it. And I'm really excited to see what other kind of stuff there is in the game like that. And last but not least, here of course we can see all the heroes from the Simpsons content in LEGO Dimensions. Well, so far you can see Krusty, we can see Bart, Homer and Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters. Now these are the only Simpsons characters that we know of so far. These are the only ones that are going to be available year one, and I think it's a good pick. I think Krusty was a bit of an odd choice personally when I first heard about it. I can understand Homer and Bart straight away, but I was kind of expecting Lisa and Marge, but hopefully, you know, they're released in 2016, 2017, something like that, because it would be really nice to put all of the family in the game. You know, just running around Springfield with all the family present and, you know, driving around in Homer's car and everything, that alone would be extremely cool. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, the Simpsons content in LEGO Dimensions looks absolutely incredible. It really does. I can't wait to see, you know, the first time I actually get into the adventure world for The Simpsons. I'm really excited about just walking around Springfield as Homer Simpson. That alone is just going to be so much fun. I'm really excited about it. And I really hope there's interiors. You know, like I've said so many times in this video, I hope I can actually go inside the Simpsons house and rebuild all the damage that has happened. But it will also be cool if there's other locations. Maybe we can go inside the Quickie Mart and things like that. There's tons of possibilities, and they have said there's interiors in certain areas, if I remember correctly. I think one of them they said is the Wizard of Oz. I think there's somewhere in the Emerald City they can actually go inside, which is awesome. So, you know, if The Simpsons does actually have interiors in the adventure world, then it will be even cooler than what we have already seen. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.